Call this meeting of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners to order. Would you please rise for an invocation from Ethan McClarity of the Evangelical Free Church of Canyon City, and good morning, Ethan.
Good morning. Good morning. Father, Redeemer, we acknowledge this morning that true wisdom and righteous success come from you and following you. So we stop and we align ourselves and our hearts and our minds with you and all the good that you wish to do through your children. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ethan. Roll call.
Commissioner Norden,
Present.
Commissioner Payne,
Present.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
County Clerk Barr, present. County Attorney Jackson,
Present.
County Manager Bryant,
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Koch.
Present.
You have the agenda before you, or any changes to today's agenda?
I am not aware of any changes today. Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented. Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne,
Aye.
Commissioner Norden,
Aye.
motion carries.
The consent agenda is before you. There are no public hearings to be scheduled. Is there anything that the county manager wishes to clarify under the consent agenda?
Not unless you need clarification on anything.
Okay, does the board request any clarification?
I have something, Mr. Chair.
Okay, County
On
Clerk?
item number 4,
Okay,
it's requesting a new resolution number to amend resolution number 11, so that would be resolution number 20.
all right. Item number 4 will be resolution number 20. The chair will entertain a motion.
Okay. Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with the amended resolution on number 4 for number 20.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Norden,
Aye.
motion carries.
Staff and elected officials reports. We have a county sales and use tax report from our county manager. Good morning.
Good morning. So we have the retail sales tax collections through the month of March. The collections in March were $349,680, which is going into the general fund and the sales and use tax fund. That is up $1,742 from March of last year. Year to date, we are up $20,144 in the retail sales tax collections. The auto use tax collections for the month of April came in at $86,174, which is up $4 from last year. We're not sure where we'll spend all of that $4, but we're excited for it. So year to date, we are up $3,704 from where we were at this point last year. The construction use tax collections in the month of April came in at $9,817. Year to date, we are up, we're down $5,655 from where we were at this point last year. Part of that is that we haven't received quarterly payments from the other entities, which we'll probably be receiving in the month of May, if we haven't already. The lodging tax collections, they actually came in at $8,897 for the month of March, which that's our typical quarterly payment. So I did a review of that, and we did have a few entities that did not report in the month of March. So I'll be tracking those to ensure that they report in a future month to make sure that we're on track. I'm not that worried about the fact that our numbers are down substantially from where they were last year, just because, like I said, there are some that didn't report. If for some reason it becomes a problem, we'll work with the state to get them collection.
That does seem to be the one fund of ours that is just wildly across the board all year long. And you never actually know when you're going to receive, and it's very, very hard to make month-to-month comparisons.
That is true. So technically, they're supposed to report, it's for the lodging tax, and it's supposed to be a quarterly report. But if they don't report at the end of that quarter and they report the following month, it obviously skews all of those numbers. So you're exactly right. Like I said, if everybody had reported and that was the number, then we would be concerned, but that wasn't the case at this point. So right now, it's not something that we're concerned with. The Sheriff's Department taxes for the retail sales tax collections in the month of March, they came in at $233,120, which is up $1,161 from March of last year. And year-to-date, we're up $13,430. The sheriff auto use tax collection came in at $57,449, which theirs is $3. So between the $3 and the $4, we're rolling in the money. So the year-to-date collections are up $2,469. And then finally, the construction use tax came in at $8,726, which is down $17,820. And year-to-date, we're up $65 for construction use tax. So are there any questions?
Any questions for Sunny?
No, thank you, Sunny.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and then we'll leave it with you to share your county manager's report.
All right. So for the last few weeks, on Thursday, May 12th, the county had their first annual health fair for county employees. So being our first one, we figured out what areas we need to improve, what went well, and so next year we'll be looking at the options again. I know there's a meeting upcoming with the lady that actually helped put on that fair, so we'll be working with her to see, you know, how we can make improvements and, like I said, what went well with all of that. On Thursday, May 12th, I also attended the Regional Managers Luncheon, which is a great networking tool for the county. It's all of the local managers in the school districts, the fire protection district, the rec district, the other municipalities. So it's a really good resource for all of us to be able to sit down at the table and just have those discussions on, you know, what everybody else is doing. On Friday, May 13th, Commissioner Norden, Commissioner Payne, and myself attended a meeting with the executive directors and representatives from the Colorado Department of Human Services. And they gave us some updates on what's going on at the state level and then how that directly impacts the county. So it was very good information. And then, as I had talked about the last time, there was the Community Build Day out at Penrose Park, and it was actually very impressive to see the amount of people that turned out. There was over 100 volunteers that turned out, and they actually were able to build an entire playground equipment in 12 hours. And so it's very impressive. It turned out phenomenal, so if you get a chance, go out to Penrose and check that out. And then on Wednesday, May 18th, Commissioner Norden and I attended the quarterly weed advisory committee meeting, and they actually give updates about what's going on throughout the county pertaining to the noxious weeds. And on Saturday, June 18th, from 9 to 2, the Upper Arkansas Cooperative Weed Management Area will host the first annual Healthy Land Stewardship event. So if you have questions on how to calibrate your weed sprayers, or if you have questions on what a specific weed is or something, it'll be across the street at the Garden Park building, and it's a great tool for people to go over there and learn more about noxious weeds and different things in the area. And let's see, the City of Florence, or the Florence Merchants, actually hosted an annual car show on last Sunday. Commissioner Bell and I had attended that, and there was a great turnout with more than 200 cars for their event. So that's
Sunny, there actually was a record high this year of 317 cars.
My goodness.
They actually had them on side streets coming off of Main in Florence, which they've never done
that
before.
number. That's
it was
very,
incredible.
very
It
impressive.
was incredible.
And then for just a quick update on the trash vouchers. So this year, Fremont County handed out 263 trash vouchers, of which 170 were actually used at the landfill and 93 were not. So I'm not sure in the future if we want to look at, how many we give out, or trying to encourage more people to use the ones that are given out, or if we want to do anything differently with that.
It always amazes me how people scramble to make sure that they get a free voucher and then they never use it.
Right.
I mean, the whole idea is to give free vouchers to get trash cleaned up, and people want something free, but then they don't take the initiative to haul the trash. So-
We did this year have a little bit of nasty weather at the very end of it, and the landfill was actually closed. I know for some folks who tried to get their trash out at the last minute, so.
And I know a few people had contacted the county in that situation, and we were willing to Ed Norden had worked out with the landfill that
Right.
we would provide
We
an
extended
extension.
it, I think, another 10 days.
Right, so there were a few people that did come in and take advantage of that, and they were able to get a letter saying that we authorized an extension of that. And then one final update, the War Memorial bricks, those actually got engraved on Sunday. So we are very excited to report that after a few years of trying to work with different vendors to get that accomplished, that they were engraved on Sunday. I went out last night and they look great. They turned out very nice. And so we will be working with Al Augustine, which is our veterans officer, to set up a date to do a formal dedication of those bricks. And that's all that I have at this point.
All right.
Okay, just another footnote on the memorial wall. We're probably more relieved than even excited to see that project done. It has been an exercise in frustration working with the vendors through, particularly anticipating it was going to be done a year ago, and then weather and wind and different problems prevented the vendor from Denver from getting it completed. So we went in pursuit with another vendor, and hopefully this one will work out to the benefit of particularly the veterans that want their names engraved on the wall, which when that wall was built, I think the Board of Commissioners at that time never anticipated ever seeing all of the bricks engraved. We are rapidly getting down to an area where we basically have only one spot left to engrave bricks, and so we're going to be working to realign Panel A so that we can use some. Panel A was originally designed as a list of donors to the park, but the number of veterans wanting their names engraved far exceed the number of donors over the years, so we're going to reclaim part of Panel A and redo that, reorganize it so that we can put some veterans' names on Panel A. All right, any other questions for Sunny?
Nope, thank you.
Other staff and elected officials reports? Commissioners?
You know, I just would second what Sunny said about the build out at Penrose Park a week or so ago. It was really a great event, and to see all those people show up. They were there bright and early on a Saturday morning when they could have been out doing so many other things. The weather was kind of cool, but it turned out that was a good thing because it let everybody work and work and work without too much sunburn and sweat. So it was a great event, and as Sunny said, if you have an opportunity, you should stop out and take a look. It's amazing what can be accomplished when a community really does come together.
That was a fantastic event. I was out there about 6 in the morning and helped them start to get things taken care of as far as unpacking, and it was an amazing thing to watch. 12 hours they got that done. The only thing I would want to add is, of course, this weekend is our balloon festival out at the Abbey, and I sponsored a balloon, so I get hopefully weather permitting, I get to go up in a balloon Saturday morning.
A couple of items I want to mention. First of all, I had the opportunity with an invitation through Loaves and Fishes and the Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments to join them in Denver at the Governor's Mansion last week for the 100-day challenge to try to end homelessness for veterans in the state of Colorado. And Fremont County, one of 5 counties in the state that joined that initiative. And Autumn Deaver from Council of Governments, Dee Dee Clement from Loaves and Fishes, Jim Berg from our Fremont County Department of Human Services, and Brad Rowland, who's a local businessman, were there. And part of that presentation, the governor was there, as well as the mayor of Aurora and the mayor of Denver. And part of that presentation was from a veteran who served in the Army from 1979 to 1985 and became homeless last year when he experienced a series of medical problems. And there was a room of about 150 people in the governor's mansion, and his story that he was telling about how he became homeless after his medical issues and loss of a job left much of the room almost in tears because of the story he told. So I want to commend those folks with our organizations here in Fremont County who are working beyond even the 100-day challenge to address the issue of homelessness. We have gotten notice, our fiscal agent, Fremont Community Foundation, our fiscal agent for the Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative that Fremont County signed on to, and a few weeks ago committed $5,000 for a one-to-one dollar match. We've received official word yesterday, and I got the email from John Marietta, who received notice that our application was formally accepted last week by the Colorado Department of Higher Education, and now we have some immediate deadlines to meet to actually fulfill the grant agreement contract with Department of Higher Ed. So now we have a June 7th deadline out there. I want to also note that I have a year ago, last summer, our weed department did a golf tournament down at the Sumo Golf Course at Florence as part of an education on noxious weeds. Our weed advisory committee gave up the golf tournament this year, but that golf tournament has been picked up by some of our volunteers hoping to raise some additional money for matching funds for this Cozy Scholarship Fund. So Saturday, July 30th at the Sumo Golf Course will be our scholarship fundraising golf tournament, and I'm going to be challenging my fellow commissioners to put a golf team together.
Because some of us golf so often?
Well,
is that about correct?
I golfed twice last year, so...
I have done it once in my entire life. Once.
Well,
One time.
You can organize a team if you know how to play. So anyway, we hope to get anywhere from 18 teams plus for that golf tournament, and try to raise another couple $1,000s for that scholarship fund. So I want to thank those people on the committee, John Marietta from the Community Foundation, Dr. Lana Carter out at the PCC Fremont campus, and Char Lindner, as well as Shirley Squire, put a lot of effort into the planning, and it's going to get probably more intense to do the invoicing and the paperwork, so I appreciate their efforts. All right, any other staff or elected officials' comments? Old business, we have consideration of a proclamation for Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Fremont County. Janelle Miller and Dan Nix are here from the Department of Human Services. Good morning.
Did you do citizens? Did you do citizens?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I skipped.
Don't go far.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do the proclamation since I called you up here, and then I'll get back to citizens' request to speak. Okay.
Thank you for having us. I'm Janelle Miller. I'm the Adult Protection Supervisor, and this is Daniel Nix, who's an Adult
Morning.
Protection caseworker. So we are here to request consideration of a proclamation for Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Fremont County on June 15, 2016. So Mr. Nix will read the proclamation.
Okay.
Thank you. Says, whereas Fremont County includes a community of older Americans who have worked their entire lives to create the vibrant, thriving communities we live in, and they deserve our care and respect. And whereas Fremont County recognizes that as members of our community, we have a responsibility to ensure seniors are protected from abuse, neglect, and exploitation. And whereas Fremont County is committed to raising awareness about the abuse and neglect of our seniors and encourage citizens to report the abuse of and or neglect of our elderly, and whereas our community can provide opportunities to educate the community by understanding that elder abuse can happen to anyone, a loved one, a neighbor, and when we are old enough, it can even happen to us. And elder abuse affects seniors across all socioeconomic groups, cultures, and races. Elder abuse can occur anywhere in a person's own home, in nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and other institutional settings, and in hospitals. Now, therefore, we, the Fremont County Commissioners, by virtue of the authority vested in this board, do hereby proclaim June 15th, 2016, Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and in so doing, urge all citizens to join in a worldwide effort to share in the vision of one person, one action, one nation, united against elder abuse.
Okay, very good. And it's appropriate that we call attention to something that oftentimes is hidden from view with elder abuse. So it's important that we call attention to it and react when we and take action when we see something going on. All right, Chair will entertain a motion.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve a proclamation declaring June 15th, 2016 World Elder Abuse Awareness Day here in Fremont County.
Second.
Motion is second to adopt a proclamation declaring June 15th as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Any other discussion and comment? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, now, as Commissioner Bell pointed out, I skipped the item because I didn't have any requests to speak, I guess. Any citizen who wishes to address the Board of Commissioners on items that are not on today's agenda can do so now. Does anyone wish to address the board? Lisa? Yes, I do. Okay, George, hang on just a second.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
I just wanted to thank the county and the employee from the county and your commissioners for allowing the chamber to host the county commissioner forum here last Wednesday. It was a great forum. Everything went very well. It really taught us something about the candidates, and I would just like to thank you for allowing us to host that here.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you. George?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everyone doing today?
Good morning.
We're doing good.
I tell you what, I really enjoyed all those hot rods that were here. Over 300. I sure would have loved to run about 250 through the gears. Thank you.
Thank you, George. All right. Under new business. Item number 2, request for an additional 3-year extension of the cessation for CUP 06003 for the Northfield Coal Mine, which is set to expire on July 26th. Dr. Bellantoni is representing for Environmental Alternatives and the applicant, who we haven't seen in a while. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Yes,
morning.
We have a treat this morning. Mr. Lenhart is here, one of the Northfield partners. So, yes, we're requesting a 3-year extension. We are the eternal optimists. And Scott's going to give us a little insight as to what he's found and
Okay.
how he's doing.
Good.
Well, I guess.
And you are the eternal optimist?
Well, I guess in this business today, you have to be. We, in the past, I guess 5 years, we've had a couple of very close near misses on getting this project off the ground. And the combination of events, a lot of, some political, some economic, it's been a challenge. And most recently, we've actually had a foreign entity that expressed an interest in developing it, and they spent over a year and probably $400,000 in technical report studies, looking at the reserves and confirming what we say is here, and also trying to raise money. They actually retained 2 investment banking firms, and at the end of the year and 3 months, approximately, with the political climate, the entity just threw in the towel. However, they're back, and he's got a new idea, and we're studying it. Many years ago, we had a local cement company that had an interest in Northfield, and they're back. They've recently completed the acquisition of 2 additional cement plants, one in Lyons, Colorado, and one in Odessa, Texas. And so we've had additional discussions, I think the last on April 8th. So but in order for us to continue these discussions with these developers and potential funders for the project, we really need to have our state mining permit requirements in order, and obviously this the CUP is an important part of the overall mining permit that we have to have. So our request is if we can, as I was telling Angela, I said, you read the papers today, you think the coal industry is certainly near death. And it's true, it's certainly a reduced industry. But what I understand, the experts in the industry believe strongly that it will plateau probably around a 700 to 700 million ton per year industry, down from over 1 billion tons here a few years ago. Now, that sounds like a huge reduction, which it is. However, a 700 to a 750 million ton industry is still quite large. And we think that our target market is the cement industry. It's always been that way. Whereas utilities can more readily use renewable energy. It's pretty difficult, I understand, to run a cement plant on a solar panel or a windmill. So you really need to have a carbon fuel, and natural gas is a tough competitor, but a lot of the cement plants prefer coal over natural gas. It's a function of the intensity of the flame, the productivity of the kilns, and whatever. I'm not an engineer, but that's just what I've been told. So we do believe there's a place for this coal, and I think once the hysteria and the promises of certain politicians to bankrupt the industry, I think it's going to be a requirement in the overall U.S. energy mix, and primarily in the industrial sector, which for the location of our project here in Fremont County, it does have a lot of transportation advantages and so forth for the local cement industry. So, at any rate, that's I just appreciate the consideration of an extension, and we will keep trying. I remember when I started this project, I was concerned about being 60 years old and getting into a new coal mining project. Well, here I am, almost 70, and I'm still in this thing. So, but we're still hopeful, and until we either just can't do it anymore or we get it done, we'd like to continue to move ahead.
What did I read in the Denver Post here 2 weeks ago? There's now only one operating coal mine in the entire state of Colorado?
Well, the 20-mile mine is running, and Arch Coal's West Elk up near Somerset's running, although Arch is in bankruptcy and Peabody's in bankruptcy. The other mines up in the northwestern Colorado area are Mine Mouth mines, Colawile, and the other escapes me. But also National King Coal, or King Mine, down in Hesperus, Colorado, is still running. But you're right. I mean, Oxbow's shut down. The Bowie mine is shut down. It's pretty bleak. Now, the advantages for us, I mean, those mines have had their struggles. It's difficult mining in that area. Also, the regulatory situation is very difficult. I mean, they're mining government coal. They have roadless areas, government, restricted roadless areas above them. So one regulatory agency tells them they need to drill wells to degas the panels in front of their longwall machine. But then the other regulatory agency says you can't go up there with a drill rig because it's a roadless area. So that's the kind of problems and struggles that they've had there. Whereas Northfield's all private coal, it's all private surface, and it does have a certain appeal to from a regulatory perspective.
Okay. And hopefully that political pendulum would swing back to take note of the reserves that this nation has in coal. But going back to the original application in 2007, only two of you are here today, but I recall when we had that original public hearing, there were a number of other people here anxious to see Northfield developed because those people in the audience were job prospects looking to land a job with this coal mine. So obviously they probably lost hope as you did from time to time, but we're glad to still see you in the battle.
Well, I think too that is, as probably you read in the article regarding Northwest Colorado, I mean, a coal mining job is an $80,000 a year job these days to mining coal, and it's pretty difficult to find similar jobs of that caliber, and so it could be very important for Fremont County and, of course, the community. And I do understand that finally Southfield just received their last bond return, and they're I guess, finished after
Done.
30 years.
I will make a motion to grant an additional 3-year extension to CUP 06-003 for Northfield Coal Mine.
I will second that with the note that I really appreciate you coming in today to kind of give us an update of what's going on. And just to let you know, I think those folks are still looking for jobs. So even if they're not the same people, there are different people. There are always people looking for different, better, higher paying wage jobs. So I have no doubt that they would come out in droves.
That's the other thing that we've noticed, that there's the employment factor, but this is a good time to be constructing a coal mine. There's a lot of, the costs of doing it are probably considerably less than what it was when the industry was booming. So, but and a lot of good people looking for work.
Yes.
Motion is second to grant the 3-year extension. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then item number 3 is a 3-year extension of the deadline for contingency items with the Northfield coal mine loadout, also set to expire July 26. Separate CUPs, but connected one and the same to the same Northfield proposed operation. And this is on a railroad siding along County Roads 11A and 79 between Florence and Williamsburg.
Yes.
So, is there anything else you want to say about the loadout?
No, obviously the loadout is, for any potential customer on the rail that needs to be delivered by rail, we would need to have this to, obviously, to be able to load, rail cars. And it is an integral part of the whole mine concept, so we would hopefully this could be extended as well.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the 3-year extension for the contingency items on CUP 10-001 for the Northfield coal mine loadout.
Second.
Motion and a second to grant another 3-year extension on the Northfield coal mine loadout, CUP. Other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we wish you the very best of luck.
Indeed we do. By the way, just one other footnote before we close. Our county manager talked about our weed advisory committee meeting last week, and a lot of the discussion was how we have a huge infestation of white top. It's a noxious weed. Its scientific name is hoary cress, but you can go just about any place around Canyon City, on the fringes, on the edges of people's yards, and you'll see a green plant about 8 to 10 inches high with a white flowering bloom. And that is a noxious weed, and it really does take over and crowd out other more desirable plants. So if you have it on your property, get out there and control it, because I'm amazed this year as to how it, probably from all the rain we had in 2015, it's certainly gone to seed and is spreading rapidly. So if you get a chance to get out there and control it, please do so. Mowing it isn't only going to spread the seed, by the way. So they're being...
Pulling it, you don't get the roots. You need to use chemical
Yes,
control.
you need to use chemical control. Lisa? Toxic to animals. All right, so with that encouragement, there being no further business, well,
I was able to find a picture of it.
very good. That's it. That is it. And all you have to do is just drive up and down the street and you'll see it in people's yards. Pretty prevalent. So there being no further business to come before the board, we are adjourned.
Couldn't hardly get a root in edgewise.
You guys put together on in your little facility.
Probably planning.
Wait.
If you, it's probably available online, but if you wanted to run it to planning and zoning, that's the department.